148 days later, we have a deal. Well, the Writers Guild does. The leaders of the Writers Guild of America have officially approved a deal with Hollywood studios that they are calling exceptional. Details include, among other things, big protections from artificial intelligence, more transparency about ratings from streaming services, pay increases each of the 3 years of the contract, and writers' room staffing requirements. Now, union members still need to ratify it, but voting begins October 2nd through the 9th. This stage, though, of approval lets writers go back to work right now if they want to. The studios, however, must turn their full attention to making a deal with striking actors from SAG-AFTRA. They're still on the picket lines. Reports coming out now indicate that after 2 months of zero meetings, the studios and actors could actually sit down to talk within days. Joining me now live is a man in a unique position. Rob Schneider, star of movies from Grown Ups, The Hot Chick, 50 First Dates, and comedy writer, is a member of both the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. Well, is one half of you happy, at least?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know who you couldn't get today. You had to that I was the expert on this. I'm not an expert in anything, I'll just tell you. No, but I will say this looks on paper what I got a pretty darn good deal, though. It's a 5% minimum increase upon ratification, and the health and pension contributors. In other words, if it's a group of writers that are working on one thing, they don't have to split their health and pension benefits. Each of them get treated as a single writer for their contributions. That's a pretty good one. But the big one, Liz, was AI. That's the big one. Okay, now that was something that I think that they went to the wall for, to the mat. And if it was 150 days of a strike and it was over this. So AI now, according to this agreement, can't write or rewrite literary material. In other words, if a book comes in, they just can't just put it to AI and then the writer
write a script from
loses credit. So the AI generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit. That is a big one because, you know, a lot of books are always turned into movies. Now, the studios also can't require a writer to use AI software, but the writer can. It's up to him. So the studios must disclose if any materials given to the writers was AI generated. But the biggie, though, this, Liz, is the biggie, and I think this is one they went to the wall for, is that studios can't exploit a writer's material, and they can't use that writer's material to, in essence, replace the writer. So they can't use that to train AI to, like, you can't put the Jerry Seinfeld script in and say, hey, come up with a Jerry Seinfeld episode. We need it. We need a couple of more. Well, so that's a big one.
I'm guessing you'll vote for it.
Yeah, that's a good one. And also, hey, this is a big, I mean, I've never seen this. Netflix, and they've been around a while now. They've never showed or agreed to show the number of viewership. Yeah.
So
actually
in the past, and let's explain to our viewers, Rob, why that matters. Because let's just say you were a writer of a show that nobody watched, or you were the writer of Squid Games, perhaps, you know, any of the other big ones. The Last of Us, I can think of many. And Stranger Things, you want to know so that you can say, well, now I deserve more because I got, you know, tuchuses in the seats, you know, people watching it on their couches or on their phones, whatever it may be.
Exactly. Well, the thing is because Hollywood, you know, believe it or not, they're in this for the money. And so whatever makes them the most money, they want to also brag and say how much more money they're making than this other studio network. And so they used to just brag about and sometimes exaggerate the number of viewers and how much money they made on the weekend. Like if they were close to making 20 million on the weekend, they made 19.5, and just say 20 and deal with it. And so that's what they would do. So, but at the same time, the streamers have been very tight on showing anybody and giving any of their competition or the writers, letting them know how much it's. How many viewers they have.
God forbid they pay for performance, which is what CEOs love to see. Rob, let's turn to the actors' strike, because you yourself are an actor as well. They are in their 75th day of striking. What is the big holdup here on this one? And do you think that their strike might go longer than the WGA's?
I think that this is going to put pressure on both sides to get the actors back. And I don't know enough about exactly what the writers are striking about. But as far as the AI aspect of it, I mean, let's be honest. It's really hard for a new technology to be held back. So when you can save producers money, in other words, when you can have your actors in the foreground and just put other actors in the background and not have to have real actors there, it's hard to go back and say, we want you to spend that money. I mean, it's basically saying, look, we got a real faster horse and buggy, and we're going to make you use it. And you go, yeah, but we got this thing called an automobile. We kind of want to go there. So I think that's a real. I mean, it could be to the point where you might not see actors in commercials anymore, and
Well,
I just don't know
and,
how
and
much power
also,
the actors
I'm
have.
thinking of actors who do voices, obviously. You are very good at it. I mean, they could somehow, and we've seen this happen with Drake, the singer, where AI mimicked his voice. And that is outrageous. He was unhappy about it. You know, why should that company or whoever did that make some money? I mean, you do a great Leno, you do a great Jerry Seinfeld. Who knows if AI could do it even better than you?
Jay Leno, most people, you also have to come down here with Jay. But I do think that, you know, it's the cat's out of the bag. We just don't know. I mean, actually, we don't even know the potentiality of what AI can really do. I mean, can AI just make movies and replace all actors? We don't know. So I think it's a really tough negotiation for the producers and the actors. But I do think, just like the writers, they have to just stand their ground and say, this cannot be used to replace, and it cannot replace an actor, a writer, and a writer's credit. And I do
Okay.
think that we have to have the same protections with the actors. That you can't take an actor and just use his face or use him to, computer generate him and then use him again throughout the show without being compensated. And I
Okay,
think that's
do the impression of Leno and say thank you to the Claman Countdown viewers for most of them being very supportive.
You guys, you guys are the best. Every time you guys come to the countdown guy, they hear it's you guys doing it all. It's a pleasure. You're the best. Thanks for showing up. I hope they don't AI me soon.
A little mix of Seinfeld and Leno. Great to have you, Rob. I'm very, very pleased that both sides have come to this agreement, and let's hope the SAG-AFTRA team is.
Let's hope so, because it's the caterers, it's the people putting
the whole ecosystem.
Stuff on the set.
Absolutely,
it's everybody. It really, and it's the drivers and it's everybody. So I'm glad we're getting people close to back to work.
Good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.